Eric, you good with that intro, bub?
Hey man, I'm good to go.
Okay, good, good. That's a good picture, Eddie.
You're welcome.
I like that.
Tell Cam to reward me for that he should put the Monday night game on tape play and keep replaying it until Nashville wins.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
Come on, Eddie. Come on, man.
That's kind of like a throwback to, like, what was it, the Heidi game? Was it the Jets and Raiders? And then they cut it off for a
That's what it
special
was, man.
presentation of Heidi. Oh my gosh. Would die if that happened nowadays. What better way to end a full weekend of football than with an SFL nightcap? You're looking live at David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium as the Carolina Skyhawks welcome the Indianapolis Ramblers to town for the final game of their regular season. Good evening, everyone. Cameron Duty and Eric Vincent, delighted to be with you tonight. Eric, the Skyhawks find themselves right in the thick of this playoff race, and after a tough loss against Lexington last week, they find themselves in a must-win situation tonight. For Indianapolis, they would love nothing more than to play fuller and dash the Skyhawks' hopes and dreams of reaching the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. And Indy's coming in here, losing to 3 straight. They're looking to get one more win on the win column there before the regular season is all said and done. Carolina, on the other hand, they're wanting to get into the playoffs, and there are definitely some situations out there where if they lose tonight, they might miss. So, easy scenario for them is win, and they're in.
Look, you're exactly right about that, Eric. A couple of different scenarios out there. We will go over those scenarios as the night progresses. Folks, we thank you for being with us. We've got Eddie Gage and Justin Reside on stats tonight, and of course Cameron Irvine at SFL headquarters going to keep us updated on the games going across the way, because they could be of importance here. You're not going to want to go anywhere for the next hour and a half or so as the kickoff sails out of the end zone for a touchback, and that is where we will get started. So Indianapolis here going to come in, get the ball first. They come in here with a 4-7 record. As we said, they are out of the playoff scenario, but it's always good to end on a high note with a victory, and they will, as we said, love nothing more than to beat Carolina tonight. Pickler under center, Johnny Pickler, number 14. And a handoff to Charlie Baker. He gets a yard. 2nd and 9 coming up as we say hello to the Indianapolis offense. Johnny Pickler at quarterback, Tino Sosa and Charlie Baker at halfback, Rob Knoll and Joel Harmon, the fullback, Rob Hunt, Brian Roosevelt, and Reggio De Niro, the wide receiving core. And we will pause there for this next play on 2nd and 9. It is a ground play again. It is to Sosa. He has better look than Baker. It's 3rd and 3 coming up, Eric.
Play, a little bit of eye candy there, a little misdirection going to the fullback and then going back to the running back Sosa, who ran it up the middle there. A little bit of eye candy might have drawn the defense a little off and got better yardage than the first run by Charlie Baker.
Rob Hunt is the man in motion. 3rd and 3, and Indianapolis does not want to go 3 and out here. They'd like to avoid that at all costs. Pickler to throw. The pass in and out of the hands of Rob Hunt, who was the man in motion. Defended well that time by Mike Ryan, and it is 4th and 3.
He had Rob Hunt open there for sure. Just a little bit of a delay on getting the football out, and that allowed the defender to make the hit and jar the football loose.
This punt with a pretty good hang time there and fielded around the 46-yard line or so, or 42-yard line, excuse me. There is a flag on the play. And it will be clipping on Carolina, which Indianapolis will accept. We'll take a look at the replay here in maybe just a moment if we get a chance.
Yeah,
actually,
probably just a little block in the back, I'd imagine, on that punt return there, which backs Carolina back a little bit.
So 1st and 10 coming up now for Carolina. Quarterback Matt South under center. As we said, for Carolina, the easiest path to the playoff, win and in. Handoff to Riley Quintero, gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Let's make mention of these beautiful uniforms you're seeing tonight. The Skyhawks are wearing special uniforms this week in memory of Amanda Varner, the wife of Skyhawks Wall of Fame member Shan Varner, who passed away last week. These all-black uniforms feature a tribute patch on the chest and black and white versions of the logos and insignia as Prasad gets close to the first down. But again, thoughts and condolences going out to the Varner family. It's 3rd and inches coming up, Eric.
Yeah, beautiful uniforms, great tribute to the Varner family, and obviously our thoughts and prayers are out with them for sure.
So again, as we said, 3rd and inches, and keeping it on the ground is Carolina, and they do a good job running left side with Quintero. 1st and 10, the drive will continue. Let's say hello to their starting lineup. Matt South, quarterback. The 2 halfbacks, Riley Quintero and Harish Prasad. The fullback, Hattori Hanzo. The wide receiving core of Chase Earl, Chris Curtis, and Christian Bacigalupi. The tight end is Vince DeSantis. Kate Palmer, the tackle. Ricky Rigatoni, the guard. And Chris Cross at guard. And that is a beautiful pitch and catch to Chase Earl, who we just mentioned, for the first down.
Yeah, and Indy came out in a man look across the board, and it was a bit of an easy throw here for South, just waiting for Earl to go ahead and get a little bit of separation there off of the DB, Metafield. And that's a good throw there, a little bit low, put it out of the way of the DB, and that's a good first down.
Carolina now moving the ball pretty effectively here as they cross the midfield stripe logo. South again to throw. Nice reception again to Chase Earl. 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5. Let's look at this Indianapolis defense. The defensive end, Mac Dre, and the defensive tackles, Robert Cherry and Saron Yate, the 4th. The linebacking core of Adam Wiseman, Kenneth Gadsden Jr., Thomas Matthews, and Telly Mack Scarborough. The cornerbacks, Jermaine Minifield, Rick Evans, Anthony Wayo, Melodious Manning, and the strong safety, Jack Russell. To the air they go again. Carolina now starting to string together a nice series of passes here, and a great reception made by number 84, Chris Curtis.
Yeah, this was just good patience by Matt South. He's looking, he's going through his progressions. Curtis is trying to find any sort of room he can off of that DB. It looked like he was just running a little out route, but notice his quarterback still needed some help, came back to the inside, and was able to make the catch there. That's a wily play from a veteran receiver.
Close to field goal range here for the Skyhawks. 1st and 10, clock still running. 6:20 remaining in this opening quarter. In this primetime SFL matchup. Again, we thank you for being with us. South with plenty of time in the pocket. Throws over the middle to Quintero with open room to run and just short of the touchdown. He will be close to the goal line. 1st and goal for Carolina.
Man, Cameron, I thought he had enough speed to go ahead and break the plane and get into the end zone there, but this is a slow developing play, and South had all the time in the world. Hats off to the offensive line, creating that time for South to get the ball to Quintero, who's just running a simple little drag route and gets the separation over the linebackers to get the 1st and goal.
Quintero almost had his first receiving touchdown of the season. That close. Mark him at the 2. And diving into the end zone, Harish Prasad for the touchdown as Carolina goes ahead early in this one, doing exactly what they needed to do.
If there's anything that you know about the Prasads, is that they like flash, and that was a flashy way to get yourself into the end zone and get 6 points on the board.
A great play, a great drive indeed as they continue to just warm up as the game continued. And so for Prasad, that is another great touchdown on the season. The extra point is good after an 8-play, 72-yard drive that went 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Carolina strikes first. Now, let's go back to those scenarios we talked about real quickly here, Eric. For Carolina, as we said, win and in, it's that simple. However, if they lose, and it could happen, but again, they can take care of themselves here with a W, but if they lose, it is going to be, there's a combination between Albuquerque and Nashville here. The only scenario in which they do not make the playoffs is if they lose, plus Albuquerque and Nashville win. Albuquerque actually playing also in this same time slot.
Lots to pay attention to, lots to look out for. Shout out to Shervon Prasad with that $7 super chat, celebrating that touchdown there, saying, ah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Shervon. Appreciate that, of course. Indianapolis now back to throw, complete South, or excuse me, that is Pickler, my apologies there, to Rob Knoll, close to the 1st down, 2nd and 1 coming up.
And a much better start on this drive here, getting the 9 yards right out the gate. A little bit of mimicry from the Carolina playbook, it looked like.
Indeed, now back to the ground they go. Rob Knoll with the reception, and then Rob Knoll with the carry. So 1st and 10 by number 28. We will say hello again to this starting lineup. Let's start from the top. Pickler at quarterback, Tino Sosa and Charlie Baker at halfback. The 2 fullbacks, Rob Knoll and Joel Harleman. The wide receiving core of Rob Hunt, Ryan Roosevelt, Reggio De Niro. 2 tackles, Jamarcus Candy and Chad Rowland. The guards, Jimmy Hayes, Hadrian Marlowe, and Johnny Van Man. Round those out at center, Anthony Anderson, as that play goes nowhere. Snuffed out by number 57, Danny Stinson and company for Carolina.
Yeah, it was just a good push by the front 4 there for Carolina, and Charlie Baker had absolutely nowhere to go, was bottled up right near the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Pickler in his 1st season here in Indianapolis, as he was previously with the San Diego Mavericks, 3-time All-Star. De Niro going in motion. Throwing across the middle, and I believe there's a little bit of interference there. Yeah, a tipped ball that was from number 53, and a great play indeed by this defensive unit of Carolina. That was Hardy, Kevin Hardy, in on that play. Third and 10 now for Indianapolis. Once more, Pickler to throw, off the mark, incomplete. Intended for De Niro. It looks as if they will have to punt it away again after 2 drives that have stalled out.
Yeah, in the middle of the field was pretty crowded there, and I know he was looking De Niro's way because he had 3rd and forever to go, but A couple of those different plays on the drive, he had the running back out in the flats to maybe get yourself a 5-6 yard gain. Might want to start looking that way if you're Pickler.
Fair catch called for at the Carolina 37-yard line, where they will set up shop with 4:06 remaining in the opening quarter here of this SFL late night edition. I don't know if you've caught this yet or not, Eric, but it seems like both these teams, though, very quick to, out of the huddle and up to the line of scrimmage this evening.
Yep, it's that kind of atmosphere in the air. It's leading into playoff football, baby.
And we love it around here. Quintero with a spin move, though, not able to get much out of it. Back to the line of scrimmage, maybe, and it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and again, front four doing a good job there, just bottling it up. Nowhere to go. Telly Mac Scarborough was the one who made the stop there.
Big number 9. He's 6'2", 230 pounds in his 3rd season here with the Ramblers. South with the handoff. Right up the middle is Prasad. And a good gain that time. 9 on the carry. Makes it a much more manageable 3rd and 1 here.
Play call because Indy was coming out with the man look. So if you go ahead and run it straight up the middle, all those corners and safeties are retreating, trying to cover their guys, leaves plenty of room in the middle of the field.
I formation on 3rd and 1, and we see Chris Curtis going in motion. Handoff and a spin move by Quintero, and is bottled up, not able to get the first down. And in on that play, a host of Carolina Skyhawks, and it's Indianapolis Ramblers, I'm sorry, and it's 4th and 1.
Yeah, and that was just a good play again by the front four. If Quintero had just hit that hole with a head of steam rather than using the spin move there, I think he'd still be running.
Fair catch called for 1st and 10, and now we will see what Indianapolis can do. Still just trying to find that spark, Eric, that they've not had so far in this first quarter.
Both these teams are trying to find a little bit of momentum for sure. Indy maybe a little bit more so than Carolina, who obviously had a hot start with that touchdown drive. But both these teams are having a little bit of trouble.
Now to throw, the pass complete. The 30-yard line. We got a flag on the play.
Looks like that was an eligible receiver downfield there, Cameron. And that'll happen sometimes when you got the offensive line going downfield, usually on screen passes, things like that.
1st and 15 now coming up for, and look at that. Absolutely obliterated that time. Mojo McClain coming in from the edge and getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, and right off the edge there, you can clearly see just nobody there to go ahead and make the block on the free blitzer. And man, oh man, a huge 10-yard loss on 1st down.
Pickler now having to throw, and that's just out of reach of his intended target, going for number 89 on that play, and that is going to fall just incomplete. And just like that, Eric, it's 3rd and long here for Indianapolis.
There's not a whole lot of plays in the playbook to settle 3rd and 20.
Indeed. Rob Hunt now in motion, moving from the top of the screen down to the bottom. 2 receivers on either side on this formation now, with Pickler to throw over the middle, and he does connect. As we said, looking for just some sort of spark. That reception to Reggio Denaro might be just what they needed.
I said there weren't too many, but every now and again you find one. And, I mean, man, he was late on the throw for sure, but a great throw nonetheless, being able to thread it between 2 defenders there and convert the 1st down. Great job there by Pickler.
And so the drive will continue. A little bit of momentum here needed for this Ramblers offense, and a delayed handoff this time, though. Good looking run, plenty of ground to gain for Charlie Baker. He gets about 7, and it's 2nd and 3 coming up as we wind down the final minute and so of this first quarter.
A little bit more north-south this time for Charlie as he goes right off tackle there, just following his blockers and getting what he can.
So on 2nd and 3, they give it to the fullback, Joel Harleman, who gets back to the line of scrimmage or so. 3rd and 3 coming up. That was a tough run, although not much there.
Yeah, the backs are having some trouble early on finding those holes that the offensive line are creating. They just get bottled up behind the big hefties, and they got nowhere to go.
Final half minute of this opening quarter, and on 3rd down, literally turning sideways to get the first down was Charlie Baker, but whatever way works indeed, and this drive will continue.
Much better job at getting shifty and finding those little crevices that you can sneak through and get extra yardage. Best looking drive so far for Indy.
Pickler to throw into heavy traffic with Prasad there on the coverage, and with that, we will say hello to this Carolina defense. The defensive ends, L.J. Hobbs and Christopher Cologne. The defensive tackles, May Carter and Phil Hall. Then you got the linebacking corps, Danny Stinson, Mojo McClain, and Shravin Prasad. The cornerback, Tristan Hatley and T.D. Jack, and Davidson Joseph. And the free safety, Skippy Curtis, Mike Ryan, and a strong safety, Ibari Ahman Eglin. Pickler throwing deep and finding his man wide open, and a beautiful spin move afterwards by Ryan Roosevelt. And here we go, seeing Indianapolis now getting a little bit comfortable at the end of this first quarter.
And this is what a quarterback like Johnny Pickler can do. He buys himself some time. Very early on, the DBs were covering those receivers like white on rice, and Roosevelt was able to eke free and get a big play there as Pickler saw him.
Quarter number 1 is in the books. Carolina leads Indianapolis 7-0. And you are taking a look at beautiful Raleigh, the Memorial Auditorium. That is thanks to aerial coverage of today's game provided by Dags DroneWorks, aerial photography and videography services for real estate events, marketing, and so much more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. So beautiful views of Raleigh as we welcome you back inside this evening, where Carolina, the home team, leading 7-0, but Indianapolis now on the move. Cameron Duty and Eric Vincent here with you. Justin Ursine and Eddie Gage on stats. Cameron Irvine at SFL headquarters. The toss play to the right side, but it goes nowhere. A good defensive stop by L.J. Hobbs, and it is 2nd and 10.
Yeah, so far, Carolina's been doing a good job against the run game. Not a whole lot of rushing yards to speak of, just barely over 20.
Toss play. Pickler, little pitch and catch there in the middle of the field, and he makes something happen as he finds Ryan Roosevelt once more for the first down.
And another good job there, just finding Roosevelt, who created space in the middle of the field. Pickler saw him pretty quick, got rid of the football, and Roosevelt did the rest for a first down.
Talk about quieting this home crowd. If Indianapolis can get into the end zone here, that would really be something. Now Pickler throwing incomplete. He did have De Niro along the sideline there, but quite frankly, the pass just really wasn't delivered very well.
No, because the coverage was so good. Pickler didn't want to make a mistake there and throw it a little bit too close to the DB so that he could make the play. So he just elected to throw it into the feet of the receiver.
De Niro once more going in motion from right to left. On 2nd and 10. Pickler again to throw to the end zone, and it's intercepted. Going the other way is Tristan Hatley, who puts a exclamation point on that drive. This Carolina defense able to stiffen up, and Hatley comes away with the INT.
You know what? The top of the play, I was watching it. It looked like it was single man-to-man coverage across the board, and I was wondering if Pickler was going to want to take a deep shot to the end zone. Sure enough, he did. The only issue with him is that Tristan Hatley was playing it better than the receiver, did a much better job with locating the football, and got a good return on top of that.
For Hatley, that is his 3rd interception of the season, and one of the most important up to this point. Again, if you're just tuning in, for Carolina, win and in for the postseason. If not, things get a little bit more tricky, so they need to take care of business today as Quintero gets the handoff and spins for a gain of 6 on first down.
Yeah, Quintero has been looking good so far, 40-plus yards here in the first maybe quarter and a quarter or so. And just following his blocks really well. Carolina doing a much better job so far with the rushing attack than Indy.
Chris Curtis now going in motion to the bottom of the screen. And back to the ground game they go to Prasad. Not a lot there. Good job by Indianapolis and Kenneth Gaston Jr. to be meeting him right at the line.
He came in there full extension and laid the lumber there on Prasad. He went back a good 2-3 yards after that hit.
It's interesting watching these two teams, Eric, and the two different strengths that they have. For Indianapolis, much more of a passing unit, whereas Carolina relies so heavily on this ground game, and we have seen it already used quite a bit by the Skyhawks. Once more here with Quintero with open room, crossing the 50 and being pushed out of bounds after a fantastic gain.
And that is all it takes, Cameron. Hattori Hanzo here, we'll see if we catch it on the replay, is able to block this one guy that Quintero has to worry about. Boom, right there. Actually, no, forgive me. That was on the offensive line. Ricky Rigatoni did a great job making that one block to seal the edge, and all Quintero had to do was just hit the gas.
And let me just say that was a fantastic, very Madden-esque boom that you gave us there, Eric, on that analysis. Very cool. Love that. 1st and 10 now coming up for Carolina. It is complete, throwing across the middle with a positive gain by Chase Earl. Not much. They give him 4.
Go 43 yards on that rumble from Quintero there, and right back to a good 4-yard gain. Carolina's being very patient with their offense so far. I like what I'm seeing.
Curtis now going in motion. 2nd and 6. And with the carry, not a lot there. They're going to maybe give a yard or so, and it's 3rd and 5 coming up. And now, you know, for Indianapolis here, how important is it for them to be able to lock down and keep the Skyhawks out of scoring contention?
Obviously, you want to keep this as close to the game as possible. Anytime you're down 2 possessions, not good.
Carolina unloads, and Curtis somehow comes up with that grab amongst 2 defenders, and it's a 1st down in the red zone for the Skyhawks.
Seen plays like that from both of these teams so far. I'm not sure how Curtis holds on to this football or even how South delivers it, because he throws it out away from Curtis's body to where he has to outstretch his arms to bring the football into dangerous territory against another defender. I'm not sure how that one ended up, but here we are in the SFL red zone.
19-yard reception. Talk about threading the needle. A fantastic play. They go back to the ground game. Quintero with that trademark spin move after a gain of 5, and you see Quintero getting up pumped with the way that this drive is now going.
Yeah, Wiseman did a good job making sure that he made the tackle there, because I think he was the last line of defense before Quintero hit the end zone.
Carolina looking to go up 2 scores, so they hand it off left side. Prasad with his 2nd touchdown of the night, extending Carolina's lead to 13 pending the extra point.
Again, Cameron, the reason this run game is so good is because everybody blocks down to the receivers. Watch Chris Curtis go from 1st level to 2nd level, and he lands the block there on the safety on the back end to make sure that they get the 6 points. That's a great play.
Teamwork in its finest form here for Carolina. 1 goal, 1 mission, and they're all looking to execute. Now Malone Brown with the extra point, as it is good. 8 plays, 75 yards in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And it's now a 2-score game for the Skyhawks with 5:51 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Taking advantage of that Hatley interception and turning it into a touchdown drive. Crucial for the Skyhawks and their success tonight. So far, they are playing lights out as Hunt brings it out to the 22-yard line for the Ramblers.
I mean, Carolina's just been looking great offensively and defensively, keeping Indy at bay. Bend, don't break. South is 5 for 5. Quintero is running the ball all over the yard right now. Indy's got to respond here in a big way.
The start from the 22-yard line. Indianapolis trying to get their first point of the game. Pressure coming, and it's a fumble, and it is picked up. Luckily for Indianapolis, the big man, Anthony Anderson, there to scoop that one up because Pickler got obliterated.
And that had trouble written all over it, Cameron. As you watch along the edge here, Pickler, actually right up the middle, Pickler just didn't see him or thought he could get rid of it quickly. But Danny Stinson with the forced fumble there, and Anthony Anderson doing a good job picking that ball up.
Yeah, Danny Stinson came in like a heat-seeking missile. A 9-yard loss on the play, 2nd and 19, and already Indianapolis with their backs against the wall. They send Roosevelt in motion. Pressure again coming, so rolling out as Pickler just has to take off and run. He gets 3 and takes a nasty hit. 3rd and 16 coming up.
And Eamon Eaglin came up and was very quick to identify that Pickler was going to take off with the football. He came in with his hair on fire and made the hit, and that was a good job there to make sure that Pickler didn't do any more damage. Now it's 3rd and forever for Indy.
3rd and 16, Pickler to throw, complete, and that's going to be oh so close. I think they're going to give him forward progress. Rijo Dinero coming up huge here for the Ramblers.
Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, we've seen 2 separate 3rd and long situations where you're not anticipating them to complete and convert the first down, and 2 separate occasions Johnny Pickler makes an incredible throw. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
Well, they certainly know how bad they needed that to sustain this drive, try to get some points on the board before halftime. 4:20 remaining before we hit the halftime break in a fast-moving game for sure. A gain of 2. There's Stinson again with another tackle for the stat sheet.
And Indy continuing to struggle on the ground here, not able to find any sort of room to run the football, just maybe 2-3 yards at most every run.
There's a little bit more room and a nice little shimmy shake by Tino Sosa, who gets close to the first down. A good gain on 2nd down, and this should help with what they want to come up with on 3rd and 3.
Yeah, good open field tackle by Mike Ryan. Not falling for the shimmy shake, following the head, following not the body, making sure, hey, this is where he's going, makes the tackle. Now it's 3rd and 3.
Pickler with plenty of time. Good job up front by the offensive line, and he finds Hunt along the sidelines. And again, another first down. Again, it does look here, Eric, like Indianapolis putting something together. They just got to finish it.
Yeah, and they got really, really close last time around, and Pickler made a mistake. And Carolina obviously turned that into 7 more points. So Pickler's got to take care of the football to get themselves back in the game.
Pickler again to the air, to Dinero, coming across the middle of the field, close to the midfield stripe, and 4-yard gain.
Overall, Johnny Pickler's doing a nice job with the football. Other than that one mistake, he's 8 of 13, 104 yards. He's been taking what the defense has given him, other than that one forced throw there at the end zone, which ultimately cost him.
Dinero once more in motion to the top of your screen. 2:40 and counting in this first half. Nice handoff that time by Charlie Baker, who hurdles a defender. Gets a good gain on 2nd down, 3rd and short on the way.
Yeah, and good job up front by Anthony Anderson to make sure that he wins his block and creates a little bit more running room for his back. Sets up 3rd and manageable here for Indy.
Anderson, 6'7", 335 pounds. First season coming over from San Diego, a season 19 All-Star.
Boy.
Getting into the backfield with the quarterback. A big-time hit by number 29, Abari Alman-Eglin again.
Yeah, and I was looking at that, seeing that there was man coverage, wondering if they were going to send some pressure, and sure enough, Eamon England comes on a safety blitz and blows up Pickler.
2-minute warning In a fast-moving first half here in the Carolinas, you're watching the SFL on YouTube. Another drive stalling here for Indianapolis as Philip DeField on to attempt the punt, and he gets a good one away. And wisely, Carolina chooses to kneel it down in the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Folks, we do want to remind you of the SFL convention that's coming to Baltimore for the 2025 convention that is kicking off the league's 25th anniversary season on July the 10th or the 14th. So be sure to join SFL Nation at the rooftop pool of the host hotel, the Hyatt Regency, and you can reserve your room now at the special group rate at simfl.net. You do not want to miss out on all the fun and festivities. And that'll be here before you know it. 3 receivers to the bottom here for Carolina. They hand it off to Quintero, who runs left and is tackled by Wiseman. Let's go quickly to SFL headquarters. Cameron Irvine's got our first game break of the night.
Thank you, Cameron. Carolina's in with a win or an Albuquerque loss. In the first quarter, Sully Richardson finds Chris Lee, who gets all the way down to the 10-yard line, but Albuquerque holds LA to just 3 points, 3-0 Lycans right now in the second. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam. Much appreciated. So Carolina doing what they have to do so far in this game. And, of course, right now it looks like Los Angeles taking care of Albuquerque at the moment. Boy, Albuquerque's a team that's really came on strong as of late. South to throw off his back foot, interception, and it's going the other way, and ain't nobody gonna catch him. Touchdown, Indianapolis. That's Anthony Weil with the TD, pick 6, and they're right back in it.
Man, you're watching it develop, and you're like, no, don't throw it off your back foot. And sure enough, he did, right to the defender, Anthony Weil, the 20th interception on the year for Matt South. And that's the trouble that you get with quarterbacks like Matt South, like Johnny Pickler. Because they are gunslingers, they're going to go ahead and take chances, and sometimes those chances don't pay off. Indy's right back in this one.
Indy's defense proving to be their best offense thus far, and that is Philip DeField with the extra point. And just like that, with a minute remaining in this second quarter, Indianapolis draws within 7. That showing signs of life like that, resiliency out of this Indianapolis defense. And we've got ourselves a football game tonight.
Yeah, it looked like Indy's defense was kind of like, well, offense, if you guys are having trouble with it, let's see what we can do. And made the play. Just a great pick 6 there to keep them in the game. And now they got an opportunity here. You know, they'll go ahead and make a stop here. They've got all 3 timeouts. Just about a minute to go. There's potential to get some points on the board.
We talk all the time about momentum, and that is what a team needs, and something like that can stir this defense on as Quintero gets about 5, actually they'll say 6 on that play, less than a minute remaining in the first half, but you know, that's going to cause this defense to even stiffen up and play even tougher and dig deep until their offense can find their rhythm.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what Indy's been doing so far. Their defense has been playing pretty well overall, I'd say.
Prasad, though, with open field now, he has been a menace this entire first half, running all over this Indianapolis defense, and doing so once more on that play.
And that's thanks to the blocking up front. Obviously, he shed a defender there, but otherwise it was hat-on-hat across the board, and Prasad was able to get to the second level easily. Doesn't look like Carolina wants to burn any of those timeouts, though. They are going to get the football to start the second half.
Clock continuing to tick away. We are down to 10 seconds remaining in this second quarter. As we'll see them send a man in motion. That is the tight end, Vince DeSantis. And I believe that will do it for this first half. No, on the 1 second final tick down there of the quarter. They give it to Quintero, who gets 2. Okay, Eric, now we've got halftime, and it's like we said, an exciting first half indeed. 14-7 Carolina, the lead over Indianapolis. But if that last play was a perfect summation of what we've seen so far, anything can happen in this game, my friend. What's your thought?
They pulled the old okey doke on you at the very, very end there, running one more play before the 000s. But been a great game so far. Indy's trying to do their best at getting their run game involved so Pickler doesn't have to go through the air as much. Pickler's starting to take some chances out there. Defense starting to find their footing. But Carolina's rushing attack has been very, very good. South has been very good as well, other than that one mistake thrown off the back foot for the pick 6. It's going to be tough to say who's going to come out with the victory in the second half.
It sure is. We will see adjustments as well, which we'll talk about later on. But right now, folks, let's get ready and take a quick halftime break brought to you by Brakes GPT, and we'll be right back on the other side.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
An Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
It's a small sample of what you will see if you break into the world of sports memorabilia collecting with Brakes GPT. Featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and so much more, Brakes GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Be sure to join the community of collectors on the Brakes GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner over at brakesgpt.com. An important note to pass along here for you Carolina fans who may be paying attention. Riley Quintero, 110 rushing yards already on 12 carries. That is huge.
Yeah, no, he had a big first half there, and again, great blocking up front by the Skyhawks offensive line, really taking it to Indy. And, you know, honestly, truly, the Ramblers pick 6 there, that's keeping them in the ball game because their offense, it's been pushing itself down the field, but they haven't been able to convert.
Not able to get into the promised land for 6 points, or a field goal even for that matter, as you see Christian Bachagalupi going in motion for Carolina. Back to the ground game they go with Quintero. A little stutter step and a little shimmy and gets a couple more yards out of it. Looked like it was going to be nothing, but he turns it into a gain of 3.
It's a good little head fake there to give him a couple extra yards. Only problem is he ran into Sir Ron Yates IV at the end of those couple of yards.
2nd and 7, just past the 35-yard line. We'll spot it on the 36. Carolina with the handoff to Prasad, who's had a good night. 2 touchdowns on the night, but Indianapolis, though, able to stop him right there at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 8.
It definitely looks like there's been some adjustments made along the front 7 for Indy, being a little bit quicker to get off their blocks and make the play on the running backs.
3 receivers to the bottom of the screen here for Carolina. And look at that, getting home for Indianapolis. A sack by number 56. That is Thomas Matthews.
And it man blitz here. Thomas Matthews doing a nice job just using his speed and getting around the blocker, around the offensive lineman without even being touched, almost as a free rusher. Great 3 and out for Indy to start the second half.
It was really surprising there, Eric, and you read my mind exactly with what you were getting ready to say there in your points after that sack, how quickly he was able to maneuver around the offensive lineman. I mean, it made it look too easy. Fair catch now called for. So we will see what Indianapolis can do. As you said, they forced the 3 and out, and now has this offense been able to make any adjustments? We will find out.
It's one of the things as a Skyhawk fan, you're feeling pretty good after maybe the first quarter and a half or so. Now you're starting to kind of, the shorter breaths.
Johnny Pickler to throw, complete to Reggio Dinero right at the 40-yard line. And that's some good up-tempo pitch and catch. That's what they need.
And just a simple post route there. Good job by Dinero to find a little bit of hole in the zone that the Skyhawks were running on defense. And good pitch and catch there. That's, as we talked about, Pickler, pretty good with the football. Had one big mistake that he took a chance on, but otherwise he's been taking care of it.
Absolutely. I mean, Pickler, a pretty solid night, like you said, with the exception of the one very crucial interception that he gave up down there around the goal line. This carry, promising though, and it's 2nd and short coming up.
A much better job there by Baker to find the hole that his offensive line was creating for him to get 6 yards as opposed to just maybe a couple.
Handoff to Tino Sosa running left. Doesn't get too much though, and 3rd and 1 now coming up, and a big 3rd and 1 it is here for the Ramblers.
Yeah, and I think Sosa was trying to, the play called for him going inside off the guard, but instead he bounced it out to the outside. Prasad is too quick for that and was able to make the play for just maybe a minimal gain.
3rd and 1 for Indianapolis. They line up in that I formation, and that's a ground carry there, just as we expected, but what we didn't expect, blowing in off the line, was Hurricane Stinson, and a loss, making it 4th and 3.
Yeah, and just great push there from the linebackers and the front four for the Skyhawks, just blowing up any sort of progress that Baker had there. He had nowhere to go.
So both defenses now rising to the occasion to begin this 3rd quarter. A good hang time there on the punt. Carolina will start from their 24-yard line as Prashad brought that carry back. I'm telling you, it's, we talk in these games each and every week, Eric. They are always adjustments made at the halftime break, and we come out seeing something a little different than what we did before. But so far for both these teams, these defenses have made some really nice adjustments, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Both defenses definitely making some adjustments. Indy's been doing much better against the run. Obviously, they got the sack on the last drive as well, so doing nice things across the board to force Carolina to give up the football.
Carolina now ready to regroup, get back at it, and find some of that early first half mojo that they had. Oh, and look at that. Was Quintero there almost forced to abandon the play with the spin move, though, however, moves upfield and makes it somehow a positive gain of 1 when it felt like you were in about 20.
It's that type of play where you're just happy that you got anything out of it because you were going to lose 4 or 5.
And off again on the ground to Prasad, pushing forward. 3rd and 1 now coming up, and that's a great run because, again, you got to take what the defense gives you here, and they had been a little stingier up to this point.
Well, and these draw plays and these delay plays are working because Indy's running a lot of man coverage so far. That's why they're able to send those blitzers and get home to South. So running that draw and delay, the defenders got to pay attention to their guy they're covering and not the running back. So it's a huge chunk play for the runner.
Toss play right side, and Quintero again able to turn the corner and get the first down. So nice job of moving the sticks, and this drive will continue.
And that's the benefit there, where you could get 8-9 yards on one play there. You only have to get maybe a couple to extend the drive. Call your most reliable play and go out and execute.
Fresh set of downs for the Skyhawks, as we said, dressed in that black and white tonight. We'll mention that again just a moment here as Prasad gets 2 before being brought down by Russell. But if you are just tuning in and you are noticing a difference, the Skyhawks are wearing black with the white tribute patch to the memory of Amanda Varner, who passed away. So again, as we mentioned earlier, again, thoughts and prayers going out to the Varner family there. But that is why you see the black and white colors of the Skyhawk this evening. As Quintero runs right side, and it's going to be 3rd and 6 coming up here.
And they're doing a good job to pay tribute to Amanda and to Shan and the Varner family. They're playing their hearts out, and they want to get in the playoffs for them for sure.
Absolutely. A team that's coming together in a difficult moment for sure. South the throw off the hands of the intended target, and really, what more can you say? That's just good defense by Indianapolis, and Melodious Manning being there to thwart that play.
Yeah, it looked like DeSantis was the intended target on that one, and Manning just good, tough coverage along that near sideline. Nowhere for South to go. He had to get rid of the football because pressure was coming, and unfortunately for him, just was not able to thread that needle.
And DeSantis took a shot at the end of that one, too. Phillip DeField with And a fumble, and going the other way. Prasad picks it up, and a touchdown, Carolina. Oh my goodness.
Wondering when these types of plays were going to happen, because we have seen a fumble already on defense there for Carolina that Indy was very fortunate to get back. But this one, just a little swipe at the football, brings the football free, and a great job of just picking the football up and running into the house. Man, oh man, what a benefit there for the Skyhawks.
Unbelievable. Skippy Curtis comes up, lodges the forced fumble, and then Prasad on the special team coverage picks it up and goes in for not one, not two, but his third touchdown of the evening. Absolutely incredible, and the lead is 14 once again for the Skyhawks.
Man, how many times have you seen that? 2 touchdowns on the ground, and one is a fumble recovery on a punt. Just absolutely insane.
Incredible. Well, we said it going into this game, Eric. Anything can and will happen, and we've seen a good dose of that already tonight.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Indy's got to be on the sideline right now. Like, come on, man. Like, that was what we lost 6 points on? Come on. Throw us a bone.
Incredible. So now Indianapolis somehow has to regroup here. Pickler to throw. The pass is complete. And, you know, how about that as Hunt comes up with that reception? Now, that really plays on your psyche. You think you're getting the ball back just to find yourself down 7 more points.
And, you know, that's a good response right there. That's a good initial play to come out of that. Not hanging your head, just go back to work. And Hunt with a nice little post route there. Came free, good timing on it. Pickler able to get a big gain right off the bat.
Pressure coming, Pickler punt fake, somehow gets it rid, and look at this, open room to run. Ryan Roosevelt somehow managed to miss that first defender, turns upfield and gets the first down.
The defender smelled blood in the water. Hatley came up and played this play a little bit more aggressive when he saw the defensive line getting in there close, anticipating the pick. Instead, he missed it by just a fraction, and Roosevelt gets a huge catch and run on top of that.
It is obvious that Indianapolis will not go quietly into the night, as they are again on the move, just outside the 30 of enemy territory here. Pickler to throw, complete, wide open spaces ahead for the tight end. And it's 1st and 10 now for the Indianapolis Ramblers.
Yeah, and that was Hardy out there trying to play coverage and just falls down. As he saw that he was coming back in on the slant route, there was absolutely nothing he could do.
And like you said, Eric, this is a great response by this Indianapolis team. As we said, you know, down 14, but coming back with a great resiliency here on this following drive. Toss play left side. That is Charlie Baker on the carry, and he gets 3 running hard, and every yard down here gets a little bit tougher to pick up.
Oh, yeah, it always does, especially with quarterbacks like Pickler that like to throw the football around. It's a much more condensed area, so you don't have a whole lot more room to really throw those darts that they're used to throwing.
Running left side again with Sosa, who comes with a head of steam, bulldozes ahead, and now 3rd and short coming up. A crucial play. We've seen them struggle this entire night. The only points they've gotten thus far, Eric, is off a turnover. They need to punch this in.
And running backs for Indy are doing a lot better job just being decisive, taking one cut and going.
Can they convert to keep this drive alive? Harleman goes in motion from left to right. Johnny Pickler's under center. Screen pass. One man to beat. Not going to be able to do it. A fantastic open field tackle by number 53 on the play. And it's 4th and 4.
Kevin Hardy does a nice job there redeeming himself after falling down essentially on that slant play just a couple plays ago. Good open field tackle to force the field goal.
Topher Kiefer on to attempt this field goal. He does a great job knocking it down. So the lead down to 11. Carolina, though, still here in control, and that defense did a great job of standing up and allowing, or not allowing, I should say, Indianapolis to get into the end zone.
Yeah, but that's a victory if you're Indianapolis. That's your first offensive points. You did it after some awful circumstance happened with the ball being punched out on a punt return and an easy fumble rooski to the house. You know, that was a good response there to go down the field and just put points on the board.
Butchigalupi with a head of steam gets out to the 28-yard line. And folks, we know you've been waiting on one. Here's a game break. Back to SFL headquarters we go. Cam, what you got?
Yeah, thanks, Cam. Someone's got to cover Jason Williams. Watch this run. No one touches him, and Albuquerque ties the game, then gets a pick by their defense. They're back in the red zone, tied at 10 just before the half. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam. We said Carolina win and in tonight. They won't have to worry about what Albuquerque or anyone else has to do. 2nd and 10 now coming up. That run goes nowhere. Back to the drawing board for the Skyhawks.
Yeah, good tackle there by Cherry, getting off his block, making the stop on the running back. And you're right, Carolina, it's winning in. You don't have to worry about any scoreboard watching at that point.
South to throw over the middle and over the head of his intended target. 3rd and 10 on the way. Again, you know, we talk about the two defenses, how they've been able to rise to the challenge this second half. And again, Indianapolis has not allowed a big play on defense.
Yeah, and that throw was just a fraction off for South. Threw it a little bit too high for his receiver. You got to throw it in the chest if you're in that tight of coverage.
Chase Earl, the man in motion.
Watch out if they send another linebacker blitz. They're lining up in man again.
Pressure coming around the edges. South steps up, delivers a strike, somehow fitting that one in there for Chase Earl. Going to make this drive continue. Man, I mean, talk about stepping up right here in the pocket, Eric, and unloading a strike.
Yeah, it's a good job because he saw that Earl was just shallow of his defender there, even despite the fact that the pocket was collapsing around him. Got rid of the football at the precise moment he needed to. Good throw, good catch, and that's first down for the Skyhawks.
Half a minute remaining in this third quarter. The give to Prasad. He runs left side and gets 2. And when you have these two teams who, you know, we talk about Carolina, Eric, and how important the ground game is to them, you have some fast-paced football games, and here we are at the end of 3 already.
Yeah, absolutely. You keep it on the run game a whole lot, that clock rolls a whole lot, so you end up getting pretty fast-paced games.
Working well in Carolina's favor. South stepping up again, going deep for the long ball, and tell me how in the world Chris Curtis came up with that one. Listen, we've seen some beauties in the past, but that was one of the best. Let's make that the nice hands catch of the game, brought to you by Richroyd. Put a Richroyd handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K23.
Chris Curtis must have gotten his goggle prescription updated to be able to locate that football like that. Wow.
We've reached the end of the third quarter. Carolina leads 21-10. Let's listen to our league rights, and we'll be right back with the start of the fourth.
The of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account to the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Cameron Duty and Eric Vincent here. Justin Reside and Eddie Gage on stat tonight. Cameron Irvine at SFL headquarters, and on first down, Quintero not able to get any room at all. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage, and a good tackle.
Yeah, good job by Wiseman just filling the gap there and not allowing any room to run there for Quintero.
Final quarter of the regular season for both of these teams. For Carolina, they want to secure their spot in the postseason, and as we said for Indianapolis, they want to play the spoiler, but right now, Carolina playing so cohesive as a unit on both sides of the ball tonight. It's really been a thing of beauty to watch.
Yeah, they are firmly in control right now as far as momentum goes. They're just wanting to keep this ball on the ground, run as much clock as possible.
South to the air. Oh, in and out of the hands of Earl on third down. And, you know, what can you really say? How can you blame him? He was delivered a strike that time, and by Melodious Manning, who was able to jar that one loose.
Yeah, that was an oh shoot moment for Melodious Manning for sure, as he realized that his receiver stopped a good couple yards back, and he came in with a full head of steam to jar that football loose. Great play.
So on to attempt the field goal, and it is good. Malone Brown right down Broadway, a 9-play, 40-yard drive that ends in more points for Carolina, the lead back up to 14.
That's all that Carolina is looking to do here. They understand they're already up 2 possessions. You add 3 points or get yourself into position to add 3 points. That just increases it to 2 touchdowns, which will ultimately just tie the football game. And with 9:05 to go, the clock is going to start becoming the enemy for Indy.
This will be returned. And Hunt makes his way down to the 23-yard line. And, you know, let's talk about Carolina for another moment, if you will, Eric. I mean, they could have completely folded after the devastating loss to Lexington last week, but instead, the resiliency that they have shown coming back from a tough loss like that. Sometimes you see a team completely cave after you have a loss of that kind, but not with this team.
Well, and that's the type of team that Carolina is. They've had a very up and down roller coaster type of season.
They came in here today prepared, knew what they needed to do, and so far they've been able to do it. Thanks to guys like Danny Stinson. How many times have we called his name this evening?
Yeah, no kidding. He's been all over the place, just making stops, preventing the run game from getting going at all. This defense has been fantastic. Stinson's up to 8 tackles.
Toss play, left side, Tino Sosa. Running hard, but just not able to get much, and that's been the theme this entire night. The ground game, not able to make any kind of headway.
Yeah, linebackers have been keying in on the running backs for sure. And it does the running backs no good when they're not making a quick and decisive decision to go up the field and trying to shimmy around in the backfield.
Pickler standing in, throwing deep, and how many times have we seen Reggio Dinero come up with a big-time catch on 3rd down?
And again, he just finds a nice spot in the zone. Pickler sees it. Ryan is a little bit too quick to react to it. Lays a big hit regardless. But good job by Dinero holding on to the hit and holding on to the football.
Well, I'll tell you something. I mean, they have lived for 3rd downs. That's where they've done some of their best work this entire evening, and we've seen it once more there.
Especially 3rd and longs.
Indeed, indeed. Rolling out now is Pickler going deep. Pass incomplete, and that was just good coverage all the way around by Carolina, forcing the incompletion and a 2nd down.
Yeah, and again, we've seen those type of throws from Pickler today. He's done a good job of it, where he's throwing it in that general direction, but he's only throwing it where his receiver could possibly catch it. He's not anticipating a catch to come out of it. He just knows he has to get rid of the football.
Rob Hunt, the man in motion, moving to the left of Pickler. But they'll keep it on the ground. The stutter step, and Baker able to make his way back to the line of scrimmage, and that is all. Ryan read that like a book.
On Rob Hunt's on the end there, he's got to hold his block longer. I mean, it's difficult to say with a safety like Mike Ryan, who's been playing lights out, the former Indy Rambler.
3rd and 10, a big play coming here. And Pickler moving right all day, going deep, incomplete, but we've got a flag. Let's see what the call is. Could be interference.
I think Tristan Hatley got in the way on that one, got a little bit too eager, and sure enough, it's going to be a spot foul at the 31 of Carolina.
Yep. We'll take a quick glance at this replay here. You can see the interference, and they may not have got the 1st down on that connection to Dinero. We've seen it quite a few times, but they did draw the penalty. So again, on 3rd down, that tandem there is a success.
I mean, it was a little ticky-tacky for sure. I'm not 100% sure what the hanky was all about on that one, but nonetheless, it is a fresh set of downs for Indy.
It certainly works to the Ramblers' favor. Fake handoff over the middle, complete. Harleman with a reception, and it's 1st and 10 in Indianapolis here. If they can get a touchdown here, Eric, that changes the whole complexity of the remainder of this game.
Yeah, most definitely, especially because we were talking about how at some point that clock is going to become your enemy, and they've only lost about 2 minutes so far on it. So if they could get a score here pretty quick, it then turns into a whole different ball game.
The receivers to the bottom of the screen, and they give it off to Sosa, who's not able to get anything. They're going to say forward progress before Stinson brings him down. 2nd and 9 coming up. 6:33 remaining in this ball game.
Another tackle by Stinson. He's doing a great job in the run game. At some point, Indy's going to have to turn a little bit more heavily to that passing attack, though.
Here comes Pickler now rolling, throwing to the end zone, in and out of the hands of the intended target. I think that was Dinero again. Joseph coming up with a big hit to jar that one loose.
Yeah, and the secondary was picking up on that. Dinero has done that too many times this evening where he just sits over the middle of the field. Joseph doing a nice job making sure that he hits him, jars the football loose, there's no catch.
Big receivers to the top, and as soon as I say that, we've got a man in motion. That's Ryan Roosevelt. So now 2 receivers on either side of Johnny Pickler. Pickler with time, throwing to the end zone, in and out. Oh, man. Ryan almost had another interception there. Drops it, but that was 3rd down. They forced the 4th and 9.
Mike Ryan's just playing center field out here, and he knows where the football is going to go. He sees Dinero coming in. He sits on the route, and that was an easy interception. Could have easily come up with that one.
That ball that Pickler threw a little too far ahead of Rijo Dinero. So it's a 32-yard attempt by Kiefer. The snap and the hold is good, and that's going to be wide of the mark. No good. Indianapolis comes away with 0 points.
When you kept waiting for this one to bend back in, and it just never did. Just missed it slightly wide left, and that's a killer for Indy at this point.
That's a heartbreaker. An opportunity to get some points on the board, draw a little closer to Carolina, and now for the Skyhawks, as we said, wearing that all black and white tonight, wanting to secure this victory, and they can do so here if they play their cards right. Quintero running hard, gain of 4 as we close in on 6 minutes remaining in the 4th.
Yeah, and keeping the ball on the ground is going to be the best way to do that. Run as much clock as humanly possible, make some plays where you need to make some plays to get first downs, but otherwise just run that ball.
Motion, indeed, as Earl goes to the top of the screen. Settles between 2 of his teammates. But they keep it on the ground. This is a fullback run this time. Torrey Hanzo, 1st and 10.
Yeah, Hanzo with the single back look there. You don't see that too many times for him, but he's able to get good yardage out of the deal and give a fresh set of downs to the Skyhawks.
We see motion once more. Again, play clock winding down here. They let it get to 10 before snapping the football to Quintero, who runs left side, is brought down by Evans after a couple on the play.
Yeah, it's a good job by Indy's defense. They sent the blitz, left a couple extra guys on that blitz there. That lies on the secondary to go ahead and make that play when they inevitably bounce it off tackle. Good job limiting the damage to only 2 yards.
High formation on 2nd and 8. Play clock again, back down to 11 before it is snapped. And Prasad off to the races again. How many times have we seen this? And somehow able to spin back around and stay in bounds.
And combination of individual effort and following his blocks, because Hanzo came out here, missed his initial block, but as he was doing so, Prasad was able to go ahead and avoid his initial defender, and by that point, Hanzo had made his block.
How about this, Eric? Going back in the record books, the only time that these two teams have met previously, season 19, week 13, Carolina beat Indianapolis by a score of 23-13. And take a look at the score today, 24-10, very similar to that.
It's a little, oh no!
Oh! Oh my goodness, and Curtis coming up with one of the biggest heads-up plays of the entire evening.
And that is exactly what you cannot do at this point. Indy is looking to create any sort of turnover, any sort of momentum flipper for them. Thankfully for them, Chris Curtis was right there to fall on the football.
Yeah, I apologize for interrupting your thought there on that exchange, Eric.
Oh,
but
no,
yeah,
you didn't. The fumble did.
But yeah, one previous meeting between these two teams and played again, like we said, about the same style with which we have seen today, just ground and pound, smash mouth football.
Yeah, it's a bit eerie when it ends up being very similar scores as the last meeting that you saw between these two teams.
Prasad with the carry. Doesn't get much, but more importantly than that, that's going to get us to 3 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. But a big 3rd and 7 here. Now they need to look to convert.
Yeah, and that's going to be the important part, too, is that Carolina's going to need to convert. If they do, it's going to be tough sledding for Indy to get back in this ball game at this point. It's already going to be tough, but Indy's got to get a stop here.
Could almost be coffin nails if they get the first down here. We're going to be close to the 2-minute warning. They do toss play, left side, Quintero running hard, but he's completely leveled at the end of that play. Good job of Manning to blow that one up. That's 4th and 6, and we will have to see the punting unit.
We've seen Melodious Manning come up and make those type of hits all game long, and this crucial 3rd down was no different as he came up and laid a big hit. And looks like we're going to hit this 2-minute warning here, and Indy's going to have to score 2 scores in 2 minutes.
Tough sledding up ahead for the Ramblers. For Carolina, they are just 120 minutes away from a playoff berth. 2-minute warning. You're watching the SFL on YouTube. Again, I'm Cameron Duty, and delighted to be with my partner, Eric Vinson, to round out this regular season. We've got the great Eddie Gage and Justin Side doing a fantastic job tonight on stats for us, and you have heard occasionally from Cameron Irvine at SFL headquarters. And speaking of, let's go back to the SFL headquarters. Cam, what have you got for us?
Thank you, Cam. If Carolina wins and Albuquerque loses, plus a Mexico City win tomorrow, Albuquerque will be heading to Carolina in the wild card round. The Lycans have a 17-10 lead in the 3rd. You can watch the rest of that one when you're done in Raleigh. Back to you.
Thanks, Cam, for that breaking news. That is going to be a development we'll want to keep an eye on. As you said, after this game ends, you'll be sure to want to flip right over and catch the end of that Albuquerque and Los Angeles game. Good stuff going on over there in LA. We've had a good one here tonight, Eric.
It's been good across the board. Carolina just slightly edging out Indy over the course of some beneficial plays going their way.
This they're wide open, the Reggio De Niro with a great play down the sidelines. Steps out of bounds just past the 30 there, close to the red zone. And Indianapolis, a late sign of life. They're still breathing.
And this is the type of situation that you can find yourself in playing against this high-flying Indy offense. Because of how much firepower they have through the air, they can easily work it down the field. You see De Niro with over 100 yards tonight. He has been easily the favorite target of Pickler, and sure enough, they're inside the 35 of Carolina.
He's done a great job coming up with some nice plays when they've needed it the most. Now Pickler to throw to De Niro once more. In heavy traffic there, though he's able to bring it down, and a timeout is called.
Like what Indy is doing on this drive. They're taking the shots where they can see them. Otherwise, they're just pushing the ball down the field. If they end up getting tackled in bounds, call a timeout. They're down to just 1, but they pretty much anticipated they were going to have to use all 3 on this first drive.
The throw, tipped and incomplete, bringing up 3rd and 4. Nice job of getting a hand in there, Abari Amon-Eaglin.
Yeah, and those are the type of shots I was talking about. Pickler is finding where he wants to go with the football and circling out where he wants to throw the ball to a particular receiver. That one just ended up not working out for him.
forward for these Ramblers. Pressure coming on either side. It is complete. Reaching over the head of the defender to bring that one in was Ryan Roosevelt. They called their final timeout and a new set of downs, but they got to move quick here.
And again, Carolina doing a great job in defensive coverage. They are blanketing these receivers. Pickler is just throwing the football with ease and is able to connect with his receivers.
Pickler to throw, complete the Roosevelt once more, rolled over at the 5-yard line. First and goal, you'll see no huddle here. Oh, and this game still hanging in the balance here. They can get a touchdown to the end zone, in and off the hands of the intended target. Going for Rob Hunt. Good defense by the Skyhawks.
Yeah, and Hunt's got to come down with that catch. I know it's a tough one, but you got to do your quarterback a favor and reel that one in. Do yourself a favor and limit this to just a one-score game. Still 1:14 to go. No timeouts for Indy, though.
These opportunities have been few and far between for the Ramblers. Back to the end zone. Oh, and almost intercepted. Ryan had it in his hands, but it was the big man, Johnny Van Man, who knocked it out of his hands at the last minute to thwart the interception.
Was absolutely wild. Ryan has had a couple of those situations come up tonight. This time he paid for it with a big hit by a big hefty.
Great awareness by Johnny Van Man. Pickler back to the end zone. He gets the touchdown. They get lucky. Again, the heads-up play there with Johnny Van Man knocking the INT loose from Ryan the play previous. And finally, with 1:06 to go, Pickler finds De Niro in the end zone.
And this is what De Niro's been doing all night long. He has just been locating where he needs to go for Pickler to find him open. And he does a great job of it there, just finding an area in the back of the end zone for him to throw the football, keeps the toes in. Great job.
Kiefer now on to attempt the extra point, and it is good. Wow, so again, don't touch that dial. This game isn't over. Now, for Indianapolis, they have to get the ball back. This onside kick, it's for all the marbles. Great job of not only catching the football, but going the other way for Carolina to the end zone. Touchdown. A chain of events. Unbelievable. Kevin Thomas with the nice hands. And we're also going to call that the Breaks GPT breakaway play of the game.
That's just unbelievable. I mean, we've seen so many of those type of plays for both teams where the ball just bounces, a nice way for them to take advantage of it. And man, oh man, Carolina, just when they thought that it was going to start to get more of a nail biter, they pretty much shut the door.
They locked that one up, as we said. The breakaway play of the game, Breaks GPT sports memorabilia breakers and collectors. You never know whose autographed helmet or jersey that you might hit. Check them out at breaksgpt.com. So, again, let's just catch our breath. We thought, I mean, literally, Eric, I just finished saying, don't touch that dial. This game is not over yet. And then all of a sudden it is with an incredible onside kick return. But coming the other way now is Indianapolis. Hunt, on the hunt, gets out to the 43-yard line.
It is just that type of game, clearly, where just every single type of play that we're going to see. Almost saw a kickoff return go to the house, and then we're right back in the same situation again, where we're like, well, is it over now?
Here we go again. You know, let's say this, and this is honest, you know, full sincerity, full disclosure here. These two teams have played about as hard as any two teams I've seen play in a long time.
Facts.
They have not given up, no matter what the scoreboard said, no matter the circumstance. And Indianapolis still fighting. Interception! And that is going to do it. Coffin nails for Indianapolis. Carolina going to put the final touches on a game. And guess who comes up with the INT? Danny Stinson.
The only thing missing from his resume tonight, and he does a great job of just hiding in the weeds and leaping up to make that snag to put Carolina into the playoffs. Great individual effort there, great team effort overall during the course of this game, and congratulations to the Skyhawks.
Final kneel down or two coming here, and Carolina, you are going to the postseason.
Playoffs?
Playoffs. Nobody does that better than you, Eric.
No, such a great game. Both these teams, you're absolutely right, Cameron. They just played their hearts out. Indy just wanted to play spoiler, get one more win on that resume tonight, and they played like it. They played like they wanted to win it. Carolina, just a couple more bounces of the football went their way tonight. Otherwise, we might have seen a different result.
Indeed. We'll see one more kneel down. And this one is in the books. Carolina, you have won it for Amanda Varner and the Varner family. The victory is yours. The postseason berth is yours by a score of 31-17. Skyhawks take flight. You are going to the postseason. And Eric, give me your final thoughts, my friend, as we close out another exciting game.
Just a bit of a wacky game. You know, we saw a little bit of everything, a lot of different things that just kind of bounced one way or the other. Both teams had those situations. You know, there was the sack fumble where the offensive lineman was able to pick it up for Indy. There was the fumble punt return where Carolina was able to return it for 6. So we saw a lot of weird stuff happen over the course of this game, and who knows, one bounce goes a different way, and it might be a little bit different. But great game nonetheless from both these teams.
Great game indeed, folks. We encourage you to turn over to the LA Albuquerque game. Los Angeles leads 20-10 with 8 minutes remaining in the fourth. For Cameron Irvine, Justin Rasad, Eddie Gage, and my buddy Eric Vincent, I'm Cameron Duty. Have a great night. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. SFL on YouTube. Good night.